encrypted and how the message can be decrypted. Okay. So basically, the Feistel block cipher can used up to the 16 rounds. So if we provide the plain text, so it might be a any bits. So that input plain text can be divided into the two equal parts. Okay, so if the input bits, yeah, if the plain text is of a 64 bit, then it can be divided into 32 bit and 32 bit. Okay, so based on these Feistel structure, so information can be encrypted by using the various rounds or by using the various swappings. Okay, so the next algorithm is that data encryption standards. So in this standard, so basically this standard is called as a symmetric block cipher. So why it called as a symmetric block cipher? So when any algorithm can use a same key for encryption and decryption, that is called as a symmetric block cipher, or it can be called as a symmetric algorithm. So the data encryption standard can uses the same encryption key, sorry, the same key for encryption as well as decryption. So if we use the encryption key as a 64 bit for encryption, then the same key will be used for decryption. So that is called as a symmetric block cipher. So in DES, we can use the 56 bit key. So if we look at the key in a ideal block cipher or Feistel block cipher, so the key size will be of 64 bits. So here we can use the key as a 56 bit, and here we can provide the blocks input as a 64 bit, and we also get the block output is of a 64 bit. So how we can convert the 64 bit input into the 56 bits? So that we have to study in a data encryption standards. Okay, so this is the most commonly used algorithm in a worldwide. Okay, so this algorithm is developed in a 1977 by National Bureau Standards. Okay, so there is a one standard committee, so that committee can develop this particular standard. So it is a national bureau standard, and another is a national security, sorry, another is a national institute of standard and technology. Okay, so these are the two standards which can develop this particular algorithm, and this algorithm can be used in a worldwide. So there are number of standards. Okay, so likewise we heard about IEEE standards. Okay, so this algorithm can be used in a worldwide. So in order to use this algorithm, so there is some standard procedure. Okay, so these two committees can develop the data encryption standards. So along with this, so who will design this particular algorithm? Now if the standard is fixed, then we have to implement into the real time world. Okay, so for that, the IBM, that is International Business Machines, can design these particular algorithms and can be bring in the real time world. So if you have to use such type of algorithms, if you have to install such type of algorithms in a various computers, so there is a one standard that is called as IBM, so who can design these particular algorithms. Okay, so along with this data encryption standard, so there are the number of versions of this DES, that is called as a simplified DES. So there are the two standards. One is a data encryption standard and another is a simplified DES standard, that is called as a SDES. Okay, so SDES is also the part of DES algorithm. So there is a little bit advancement in the DES algorithm. So that is called as a simplified DES algorithm. But the simplified DES algorithm, it is used only for the educational purpose. So it is not implemented in a real-time world. Okay, so only we have to study what is a DS algorithm, how it can be designed, and what is the ESDS algorithm. So we have to study the number of subtypes of the DES algorithm. What is the ESDS? What are the DES? Then what is the double data encryption standard? What is the triple data encryption standard? How it can be designed, where it can be used. Okay, so all the concept we have to study in these data encryption standards. Okay, so these standard or this algorithm is very important in a block cipher. Okay, so in a DES, we can use the key of a 56 bit. So if we have to use the key of 56 bit, so we have a standard formula that is a 2 raised to n. So here the key is of a 56 bit. So 2 raised to 56, it is equal to 7.2 into 10 raised to 16. So there are such values of a key. Okay, so a single key contain that much values. If we consider the 56-bit key, so one key consists of 7.2 into 10 raised to 16 values. Okay, so by using a such large key, we can encrypt the data. So if we use such a key for encryption, so our system will be more secure. Okay, so that much large size key can be used in a data encryption standards. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Okay, so if we use the 56-bit key, so there are the number of values. So due to this, it is easy for encryption as well as the decryption. But if we use the more size key, might be a 128-bit, 256-bit, so it contains the large value. So as the key increases, the complexity of that algorithm will be increases. Okay, so that's why we can generally prefer 64-bit key or 56-bit key. Okay, so the DS algorithm can use 56-bit keys. Okay, so due to this key, the hacker are not able to hack any information placed in that particular algorithm. Okay, so when this algorithm can be implemented, so basically on a internet or on a website, this algorithm can be available in a 1997. So as there is an advancement in technology, as there advancement in internet, so use of algorithm can be used. So in 1998, the specific hardware of this particular algorithm can be designed and it can be used in a or it can be installed on a various devices. Okay, so in 1999, so all the DES algorithm can be designed or combined in just 22 hours. So it requires the time to develop or to design or to install this algorithm on any specific systems. So in that time we can install, yeah, we can design, we can develop the DS algorithm on any specific computer systems. Okay, so if we use such type of algorithms, so our system should be more secure, but there are also various disadvantages of this algorithm. So in that case, if we increase the key, so our encryption time and decryption time will be more. So we have to find out the various alternatives for a DES. Okay, so there are number of alternatives for DES, that is a double DES, triple DES. Okay, so these are the various advanced algorithms, but the basic concept of DES can be used in all algorithms. It might be a yes DES, it might be a double DES, it might be a triple DES. Okay, so these are the various key points regarding the data encryption standards. Now, what are data encryption standards? What is the basic principle of a data encryption standard? So the data encryption symmetric key block cipher published by National Institute of Standard and Technology. Okay, so as we discussed earlier, this particular standard can be designed by National Institute of Standard and Technology. Okay, so again, can call DES is a symmetric key block cipher. So we can call it as a symmetric key if the key used for encryption or decryption in the algorithm is called as symmetric algorithm. So if we use the 64-bit key for encryption, then we have to use the 64-bit key for decryption. So same key is used for encryption as well as decryption. So that's why it called as a symmetric block cipher, or it can called as a symmetric algorithm. So now how it can be work, what is the basic design principle of this algorithm? So we have to first encrypt our information, and based on the encryption, so we have to send the information to the receiver. So receiver can use the same key, and with the help of this key, the receiver can decrypt the information. So to encrypt and decrypt, we require the various algorithms. So for encryption, here we can use the DS cipher or DS algorithm, and for decryption we can use the reverse DS cipher. So it is similar to the multiplexer and demultiplexer. Okay, so the concept of DS and inverse DS is similar to the concept of multiplexing and demultiplexing. So how we can encrypt the data by using the DS algorithm? Suppose first we require the plain text. Okay, so the plain text might be a 64-bit or it might be a 128-bit. So by using this plain text, so first we have to encrypt our plain text. So in order to encrypt the plain text, we can use the DS algorithm. So if we encrypt the this plain text, then we get the ciphertext. Okay, so the ciphertext nothing but the coded version of the plain text. So we can study the definition of plain text, ciphertext, cipher in a basic terminology. So by using the DS algorithm, we can convert the plain text into the ciphertext. So if our plain text is of a 64 bit, then output should also 64 bits. Okay, so in order to make encryption, we have to use the key. So here we can use the 56-bit key for encryption as well as decryption. So here we can show the 56-bit key can be used for encryption as well as decryption. So at the receiver side, also we have to decrypt the code. So for that, we have to convert the ciphertext into the plain text. So in order to convert the ciphertext into the plain text, we have to use inverse DS algorithm and the key of a 56 bit. Okay, so if we decrypt the information by using this algorithm, then we can get the original information that can be sent by the sender. So it is a design principle of data encryption standard. Okay, so in this, why it is secure? Because whatever the key can be used in this algorithm, so that is only known by sender and the receiver. Okay, so if the hacker want to hack the information, so he have to hack the particular algorithm, and if you use the large number of key, then it is too difficult to hack the data. So it is the most important use of data encryption algorithm. So it is the most secure. So that's why this algorithm can be used in a worldwide. Okay. So now, so in order to design the data encryption standard, we have to use the two types of concept that is called as a diffusion and confusion. So in first lecture also we studied the concept of diffusion and confusion. So it is a diffusion. So the diffusion can hide the information between the plain text and ciphertext. Okay. So it is in the communication is in between the sender and receiver in the form of plain text and ciphertext. So if we have to hide the information of the plain text and ciphertext, so the concept of confusion can be used. And if we change any one bit in the plain text, so obviously there is a change in ciphertext. Okay, so diffusion can hide the information between plain text and ciphertext, whereas the confusion can hide the information between ciphertext and the encryption key. Okay, so it is a basic difference between diffusion and confusion, and these two concepts are used in a data encryption standard. Okay, so these are the two basic things that can be used in a DES algorithm. So in order to design the DES algorithm, so we have to consider the what is a plain text, what is a ciphertext, and what is a key. So these are the three important points. One is a ciphertext, another is a plain text, and third one is a key. Okay, so based on these 3 points, so we have to design the confusion and diffusion concept. Okay, so the diffusion can hide the information between plain text and ciphertext, and the confusion can hide the information between cipher and key. Okay, so due to these we can secure our system or we can secure our information. This is the standard structure of data encryption standard. Okay, so also we seen the structure of Feastel block cipher. So how it can be divide the information into 2 points, how the algorithm can be designed. So it is the standard structure of data encryption standard. Okay, so how the DES algorithm can be designed, what steps are used. Okay, so if we are to design the DES algorithm, so we have to by using these such steps. Okay, so first is we require the our plain text. So the plain text might be of 64-bit. So we can the first step of DS algorithm is that initial permutation. Now what is a permutation? What is a combination? That we have to study in upcoming parts. Okay, so the basic in a DS algorithm is that initial permutation. Okay, so by using the initial permutation, so our plain text will be of a 64-bit. Okay, so the plain text is of a 64, so we have to use the key as a 64-bit, but the DL algorithm use key of a 56. Okay, so that's why we have to skip, yeah, we have to discard the 8 bits. So that 8 bits can be discarded and the 64 bit can be converted into the 56 bit by using permuted one combinations. Okay? So this is a standard process into the 56 bits. So first we have to convert the 64-bit key into the 56 bits. And the second step is that we have to convert the 56 bit into the 48 bits. So why? So we have to provide the same key for all the rounds. So in DS algorithms also there are 16 rounds, and for 16 rounds we have to provide the same key. So if we provide the 48-bit key, so that 48-bit key is divided into the two 24 bits. So the 24 bits are provided to left side and the 24 bits are provided to the right side. Okay, so we provided to the one round, we can provide the same key to the number of rounds. Okay, so in a DS algorithms, so first we have to convert the 64-bit key into the 56 bits. So why? Because the DS algorithm can use only the 56-bit keys. And after that, again, we have to convert 56 bit into the 48-bit keys. So that's so that we can provide we can divide the 48 bit into the 24 bits and 24 bits. It can be provided to the various rounds. So as similar to the Pastel cipher, so in this cipher also 16 rounds are there. So by using these 16 round, we can encrypt our information. So once the information is encrypted, so by using the inverse initial permission, again we can use the decryption. So first we have to perform the permutation, and for decryption we can use the inverse permutation. Okay, so this is a simplified structure of a DES algorithm. Okay, so in this, so we have to consider the number of keys. So if our plaintext is of a 64 bit, so first we can use the 64 bit key, then 64 bit is converted into the 56 bit keys, and finally we can convert the 56 into 48 bit key, and the 48 bit key can be applied to the series rounds. So again, there are round 1 to round 16 are present in a data encryption standard. Okay, okay. So these are the steps of the initial permutation. So initial permutation is the first step of encryption. So it can reorders the input data bits. Okay, so our input data bits are 64 bits and these are 56 bits. So first to convert 64 into the 56. So for that we can use the initial permutation, and at the last we can use the inverse initial permutation. So again we have to convert the 56 into the 64 bits. So for that we can use the inverse initial permutation. So how we can use such type of a keys? Okay, so here we have one standard table for initial permutation and inverse initial permutation. Okay, so we have a 64 bits. So the 64 bits are arranged in a proper order. So there are 8 rows and 8 columns. So by using a various swappings, so we can represent, we can fix the location of particular bit. Okay, so it is the standard permission table for data encryption standard. So figure A shows the initial permutation, and the second table shows the inverse initial permutation. Okay, so there is a one process to obtain such values. So how we can write first 56, then second column as a 50, then 42, 34. Okay, so there is a one standard procedure. So based on this standard procedure, we can substitute the each bit at its respective position. Okay, so for our understanding, we can directly mention the tables of a permutation and inverse permutation. Okay, so this is the standard tables for and inverse permutation. Okay, so it is of a 64 bit. Okay, so the next point is a round key generation. Now, what is a round key generation? So that process will understood in an algorithm. Okay, so our main text or our main information will be of 64. So we have to divide the 64 bits into the 56 bits. Okay, so that is done by the permuted choice 1. And after that, we can divide these 56 into the two equal parts. There is a 28 bits to the left side and 28 bits to the right side. Okay, and then after, if we have to provide the key to any specific round, then we can convert the 56 bit into the 48. Okay, so these are the process of round key generation. So we can transmit the Yeah, we can translate the keys, or we can translate the numbers from its one position to the next position. So that will be understood in a Feistel cipher. How we can convert the one information. Yeah, how we can translate the position of first digit. Yeah, position of first to the second to third, third to first. Okay, so that process will be called as a round key generation. Okay, so okay, so by using the DS algorithm, we can make, yeah, we can represent the various keys. So our input key is of 64 bits. So we have to discard the 8 bits. So here in this table, the we can discarded the 8 total bits. So that will be shown by white color. Okay, so it is called as original input key, which consists of 56 bits. Okay, so after that, by using the permuted choice 1, these 56 bits are divided into the two equal parts. One is a 28 bit and another is a 28 bit. And after that, we can shift the bits. Now, how to shift the bit? So, in a Feistel cipher also, or in a DS algorithm also, so we can use the number of rounds. Okay, so in this algorithm, we can shift the one bit or one particular letter by its 28th and 57th position. So the first letter, sorry, the first number can be replaced by its 28th and 57th letter. So if we count the 1, so from 1 we have to count 28. So at that position we have to place the 28th letter. Okay, so these are the calculation of DS key. Okay, so the idea is, so we have to discard the 8 bits. So why we have to discard the 8 bits? So our input key is of a 64 bits and the DS algorithm having the key of 56 bit. So we have to discard the extra 8 bits and then we can divide the 56 into the two parts, that is the 26. So that is a 28 bits and second part is a 28 bit. Okay, so these are the DS key calculation. Okay, so if we consider the various rounds, so in a DS algorithm we have a number of rounds. So likewise Feistel cipher, in this algorithm also we have 16 rounds. So if we consider any one round, so the process of that round will be same as per the Feistel cipher. So what is the process? So first we have to split our plain text into the two equal parts. So here our plain text is of a 64 bit. So we can split the plain text into the two parts, that is a 32 bit and 32 bit. So one is at left side and another is at right side. So left side information we can represent with the L0 or Li, and the right side information we can represent with the R0 or Ri. And after that we can use the key, and that key can be combined with the right hand side and can be XORed. Okay, so this process we can understood in a Feistel cipher. So that for that we can also take a one example, and with the help of that example we can understand how the plain text can be encrypted in a round one. Okay, so it is a basic procedure of first round. So likewise we can repeat the same process for round 2, round 3 up to round 16. Okay, so likewise we can encrypt the message into the number of rounds. So how to encrypt the message? So this is a standard procedure for encrypting of a message. Okay, so have you understood the previous example of a Feistel cipher? Okay, so if you understood that example, how we can encrypt the key, so this first round will easy to understand. Okay, so if we understood the process of first round, so the same process we have to repeat for up next rounds up to the 16. So we can swap our information number of times. Okay, so if we swap the information in a number of rounds, then our information will be more secure. Okay, so as the number of round increases, so there will be more security. Okay, so this is the basic structure of the first round. So by using this process, we can encrypt our plain text in the step one or in the round one. Okay, so understood the basic procedure for round one. Okay. Okay, so it is the main algorithm of a first round or a single round of DS algorithm. Okay, so how the message can be encrypted in a single round, then we have to use the second round, third round, up to the 16th round. Okay, so this part we'll take in the next lecture. Okay, so in this part we have to just understood how the message or how the information can be encrypted in a single round of DS algorithm, and same process we have to repeat for the next upcoming rounds. Okay, so this part will take in a next lecture. So today we'll stop here. So if you have any difficulty you can ask here. काही कोणाला difficulties आहेत? Yes. Okay, so once we understand the how the message is encrypted in a round one, so the process of round one is similar to the basic principle. So if we encrypt the message in a round one, so same process will be repeated up to 16th round. Okay, so we can encrypt our input information by 16th round. Yeah, swap we can swapping information into the 16th round. So if we swap the information 16th time, so our data will be more secure. So hacker does not able to read the content of information. So we can swap in any manner, in any numbers. So we can swap the our input bits, and that can be placed at any random location. Okay, so our ciphertext might be too different from the plain text, and that message only decrypted by the receiver side by using the decryption algorithm. Okay, so it is a standard procedure of DS algorithm. Okay, so today we'll stop here. So next part we'll take in a next lecture. So you can put your attendance. So put your attendance in a sequence. Start with roll number one. One is absent.
Present, sir.
Yes.
टाकलं
Okay,
ना.
1 to 5. 1 to 5. Roll number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 to 10. Let's put the number from 6 to 10. Roll number 6 to 10. 11 to 15. 16 to 20. 21 to 25. 26 to 30. 31 to 35, 36 to 40, 41 to 45, 42, 44, 45, 46 to 50, 51 to 55, 56 to 62. Okay, so we'll stop here. You can left now.
Sir, 46.
Okay, put your number.